So there's one unit in this game that I just straight up don't like, and that is Quahog, aka Time Child, aka Breaker of Games. I actually don't run him at all, and the reason for this is he's just way too strong. Like his kit is essentially built around breaking the game. I don't know if this was intentional or not. I can only assume it wasn't. I don't think the devs thought that stop time and reverse space time would be really insane. Like I bet they figured, oh, they'll just reset some units, it'll be fine. But it like completely changes the way you play the game, and it's to the point where like just stop time spam. Like if he just spams stop time, then like unfreezes like a battery, he can maintain it, and it's just really stupid. And you can just like slowly like chip away at every single thing on the map. Like he just has too much of everything. Now, if he, all right, so what could be done to balance him? I guess like we'll go over a few things. Let's go over what could change in his kit to fix his kit. The first thing I would do is I would change stop time to be way less powerful. I think what it should do is it should be an AoE that hits. I don't know that it should hit 5 targets. I feel like it should hit like 1 target and cost. Here's what I think stop time should do. I think it should cost 2 TP and hit 1 target, and now it's fine because it freezes the entire board. Just being able to completely control a map, like you can throw down fire and then stop time, and then enemies are just constantly burning. Like there's so many ways to break the game with stop time, it's ridiculous. Like the Azana nuke thing is another thing. Like there's all these, you can unfreeze a damage dealer and then just have them kill things. You can unfreeze them with turn back time. So there's all these gimmicks you can do with just stop time. I would say the best way to fix it is to make it cost 2 TP and to make it so that it only freezes a single target for 2 turns. That's it. And then get rid of the gain the use of one more command thing, because that's like, what? It's like, oh, everyone freezes and then do another thing. It's like, who thought this was fine? This is stupid. Another thing that's kind of crazy is like turn back time. I feel like is too good. I think it should just revert HP and position. I don't think it should revert status effects. If it just reverts HP and position, I would say this could be 1 TP. I guess it's fine where it's at to some degree. But like the problem with this ability is there's already too much in here. And the range is good too, like 0 to 6 range is just ridiculous. So I feel like it's too good in its current form. It's extremely powerful for just completely resetting a unit's health and status effects and position. So like you can have a unit almost die and then just reset them. In due course, I think is actually, honestly, even this is overtuned. Like it's like, oh, it's delayed, but the way it works, I think it does like 10% or like 15% of an enemy's max health, so it's really good on bosses. It's the only spell in the game, the only damage spell that costs 1 TP, and it's also an AoE. It hits up to 5 targets. It hits the target it's on at the end of their turn, and it also hits up to 4 adjacent targets. So like this is even overtuned. Like already he has 2 overtuned abilities, and we're not even to like the crazy ability. And then like time compression, this is like one of his like least broken abilities. This is just like a Gila haste type of situation. This is fine. I don't really have any problem with this. But like in due course should be 2 TP. Because the main reason why Quahog is really like broken is by himself he can like stop time and then spam in due course, and then also if he unfreezes a battery, the battery like a Medina can double items him twice and herself twice. And then he can just maintain stop time and then, like, get in some nonsense. There's other combos too, but this is just like a really basic example of how one of these abilities is like way too overtuned. Warp space is pretty ridiculous. Move an ally to any location within 5 squares. This is like baby light wave, but it's just like 2 TP, and it has a range of 0 to 6. So you can, like, a unit can move, and then as long as if they're just like 6 tiles away, he can bounce them even further, or just like teleport them on high ground. Given the fact that he already has so much utility, I think this is like completely unnecessary. I don't think he needs this in his kit. In fact, I would remove both distorted time. Like, if you want to keep his kit the same, I would give him less. I would make in due course cost 2 TP. I would make stop time cost like 4. Like this stuff needs addressed, but I don't think the devs are ever going to do a balance change because in previous statements they've said things like, oh well, we don't do game updates, we don't do DLC. Once we ship a game, it's finished. And that's more of like a money thing than like a quality thing, because like obviously Quahog needs balanced, and like some of these like lower tier units, like I feel like Hasabara could use, like I think Be Brave could be buffed a little bit so that it heals her. And like some of these bad units could be buffed, some of these like overpowered units could be toned down. Like if, for example, to balance Medina, make double items cost 4 TP. That would probably balance her, because then she can't use it. Like if she catches her own battery, she can double items every single turn. If it costs 4 TP, she couldn't. So that would help push her down a bit. Narv could use some TP management ability or something. Hasabara could use like either better damage or better healing. Maybe Be Brave hits in a large... Like, honestly, if Be Brave had a bigger radius, it would be pretty good. Like, if even if it still didn't hit her, if it could hit, like, 2 tiles away, like, if its range was 1 to 2, I would say it would be really good. That would give her... and if there was, like, the option for it to cleanse conditions, then we're talking. Now she's, like, easy A tier for me, I'd run her. But because it's just, like... There's just not enough there. Like, I feel like it could be balanced. She could be like, some of these like worse units could be improved so that they're more viable. But yeah, the main reason I don't like Quahog is because he's just too powerful. And you're either, if you don't exploit stop time and reverse space time, his kit still is good. I guess I could use him and just like use him as a utility. But honestly, like if you just use him as a utility, he's just okay. But if you, and like the other thing too is like stop time is really annoying to play with. Like, you have to wait for, like, the entire board to pass turns constantly, and it just takes forever to do anything with. So, it's, like, you can cheese, like, every single map with it, but it's really annoying and tedious. So, and then he also has distorted space, which allows him to switch positions with a unit. So, he could, like, run really far away from a boss and be out of the boss's, like, movement range, and then switch positions with the boss, and then keep doing this to like reposition a boss. And then he also could switch positions on like a Yen's trap and then push the boss even further out. So he can like, even just Yen's plus Quahog. Honestly, I might make a video on that, because that's not using Quahog in a way where he's stopping time or reverse space timing. That's more like hilarious and stupid. But that, like, even just stupid things like that, the fact that he can just reposition a boss, like, and also he has teleport, and he can stop the board. Like even his mom, she can only stop in an AoE, like in a large AoE. It doesn't hit the board, so it's like more balanced. Like one way to balance this would be to make it so like it's like, here's probably the easiest way to balance this. You leave it at 3 TP. It has a range of like the actual effect, so like a casting range of 0 through 4. Or 1 through 4 is the casting range, and then the area of effect is 0 to 2. So it hits in like a larger AoE, right? So like a Sunfall or a Glacial Moon type of thing, and then it stops things for 1 turn. That's what I would do to balance it. And then you get rid of the use one more command. Or if you want to have it stop for 2 turns, it costs 5 TP. It's way too overtuned. Stopping the entire board is absurd. There's no way around that. Like, it's 3 TP, small AoE for 1 turn, or it's 5 TP, large AoE for 2 turns. And then get rid of the use one more command thing, because that is completely unnecessary. This ability is already good enough for wasting time, for keeping units on fire, for unfreezing things and comboing. Like, the fact that he can act immediately afterwards is ridiculous. This is complete design oversight. And then reverse space-time. I just don't like this ability. Like, this is probably the best weapon skill in the game. I think that's fair. Because, like, what does it do? It, like, resets everything except for things that die. So you can burn through all of your TP, get like a Sunfall, get a Glacial Moon off, King Shield, do whatever the hell you want, be extremely reckless with TP, and as long as you have a Julio who can battery Quahog, you can do this every single turn and keep all of your units at max health, max TP, no status effects, and continue to return their position. So that if anything is overextended, it completely corrects all of your positional mistakes. If anything's about to die, it corrects all of your healing mistakes. If anything is out of TP, it fixes all of your resource burning through, poor resource management mistakes. It's essentially the definition of a get out of jail free card. They should just rename this to get out of jail free card, because that's essentially what it is. And its cost is irrelevant as long as you're running Julio, who can just immediately battery Quahog to do it again. So you can literally go without running a healer and use this, and it's completely fine, because you just spike heal everything, and there's literally no downside to using it. What I would do with this, I would make this very punishing to use. This should have a charge. At minimum, this should have a charge. If you're going to have an ability like this, it should charge for one turn. There are abilities that are much worse that still require a charge. This at minimum should have a charge, and Quahog shouldn't be able to act for 2 turns after this. This effect is so extreme. It's a board heal, TP reset, condition reset, position reset, and anything, like, assuming you nuke enemies down. Like, here's a perfect example of how this could be used. Crinton Glacial Moon. Alright, so first Eridor King Shields. Let's say a few enemies go. They surround around Eridor. Great. Crinton Glacial Moons, Maxwell High Jumps, who else? And I guess you could have, like, Narv come in with, like, Wind Attack, just for a big AoE. And then for your 4th attack to kill everything, you could do a Sunfall and then turn accelerate it with either in tandem or like a now or something like that. So you could get all these huge AoEs off, right? Like 4 big AoEs. And then Quahog reverse space times. All of the enemy units that you just nuked are dead, but now all of your units have all of their TP, health, and position back. So you can do it again. Like, you have to understand why it's broken. That is the reason why. What I would do to fix this is make it cost 5 TP and remove the TP reset. And I think that would be fine. It just heals and it just reverts positions, HP, and status effects. The TP aspect is way too good, and for even just the board heal and status effect and position reset, that should be 5 TP. It's way too good. And if you wanted to just restore TP, then get rid of position, get rid of status, and then get rid of HP. And just, I don't know. Like, it's too overtuned. The fact that it acts as, like, effectively one of the best battery abilities in the game, because if you kill an enemy, it can't reset them and they're dead. So if you burn through all of your resources, it's effectively a battery skill. So yeah, overall, Quahog, in my opinion, is too overpowered. He's too, I think he's too overpowered, but also, I don't think he's fun to use. Like, I've tried using him and using stop time, and it just feels boring, because you're just waiting for, like, you just keep waiting, things keep passing turns, matches take longer than they should. It's not fun to use. And then with the reverse space-time thing, like, I already feel like there's strong enough team comps without this much get-out-of-jail-free card. So, I just don't enjoy using it at all. Like, I can see how it could be good. But you could probably even just run Quahog and Julio. You wouldn't even need a Medina, because every turn Quahog just batteries everyone. Every turn is a battery. And the other thing too is if, like, enemies are pushing you, it pushes them back. So, like, you get to kill enemies. Like, let's say there's, like, 5 enemies next to your team, and then there's, like, 5 more enemies that are, like, 5 tiles away. All these enemies move up. The 5 next to your team move up to your team. You kill the 5 next to your team. You reset. You push you push the enemies that are advancing on you back. This is a shutdown, utility, healing ability, because it also shuts enemies down by moving them away from you if they're pushing you. So, like, it's so ridiculous, and you can keep your armies separated, and then just nuke things like you have complete control of the battlefield more or less with this ability. So it's way too overtuned. Now here's the thing. Here's what I would do with it. I would, like, if you want to keep it at 4 TP and keep these effects the same, give it a range of 0 to 6, and then make it hit 1 to 3 tiles for AoE. So it has a pretty, like a relatively large AoE. It can hit a bunch of things. Then actually it would probably be fine. But the fact that it hits the board is like, Jesus, dude. Like you can, the only time you can hit the board is when the effect is like either inconsistent or like decent, but never great. You can never have board effects on a game like this where the effect is insane. So a perfect example of this is Decimal. Like, his best thing is spamming height +5, but like his average abilities are just going to hit a few random targets for good damage. So like he's balanced by the randomness, and his range isn't board except for this ability. So, and even then it's very inconsistent. So if you're going to have board abilities, they have to be inconsistent or just like medium impact. Like, for example, they could have made Rite of Thunderstorms more accurate and then just reduce the damage so that it's just like, you know, good chip damage sort of thing, with a low chance of paralysis, like 30%, then it would be fine. It still is fine. It has low accuracy, so it just randomly hits for okay damage. But having a board reset that you use in your favor in a way where it completely resets enemy positions and resets all of your units' health, TP, and status effects and the positions of everything is just way too overtuned. And stop time, like even just stop time is hilarious. Like, it's so broken. So yeah, that's my time child rant. These are like some of the reasons why I don't run him, because he's just not fun to use in my opinion. I already feel like some of the builds, like even I don't run Death Ball because it's too good. So for a similar reason, it's like I'm pretty sure I'm the one who discovered Death Ball, but I don't run it because it's too easy to use, and then it's just like not fun to do, because when something's too easy, it's just like the challenge aspect is gone. So kind of similar to how Quahog's kit is like really overtuned. Like once the challenge aspect is gone, I'm just not interested in the game. So I just don't run him for that reason. But I'd like to see him balanced. Like I think it could be fun if these abilities were balanced. Like if stop time was similar to Lila's, how it just like hits in like an area. And like it could even be 3 TP, but get rid of the extra move, the extra command thing. Just have it hit like range of 0 to 2 from the AoE, so you can cast it at range instead of just board stopping. Same thing with reverse spacetime. That would bump him down to just S tier, and then he would just be like fun to use, because it's not fun to just like have all this broken stuff. So, I mean, maybe it is. Maybe you enjoy breaking games, but for me, once it's easy, I'm bored. So yeah, that is the Quahog rant. Thank you for watching, and definitely like and subscribe for more content.